Jaishankar's words carried the weight of a country no longer willing to accept moral lectures from those who fail to practice what they preach. When Jaishankar says we are looking for partners, not preachers, he's echoing the sentiment of a billion Indians. India doesn't need preachers, it needs partners. The recent statement by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, firmly telling Europe to get beyond preaching and start acting with a sense of mutuality, was not just a diplomatic nudge. It was a bold declaration of India's new foreign policy identity, delivered in the wake of Europe's silence, if not subtle alignment with Pakistan after the Pahalgam terror attack. Jaishankar's words carried the weight of a country no longer willing to accept moral lectures from those who fail to practice what they preach. For far too long, India's foreign policy was wrapped in the comfort of ambiguity, rooted in Nehruvian idealism and the legacy of non-alignment. It preferred caution over confrontation, consensus over clarity. That era is over. What we are witnessing under Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not a cosmetic change, but a foundational reset, a paradigm shift that places national interest front and center unapologetically. India does not seek validation, it seeks parity. This shift isn't born out of arrogance, but from maturity. It is a result of a country that has earned its place at the global high table through consistent economic growth, strategic clarity, and diplomatic assertiveness. When Jaishankar says we are looking for partners, not preachers, he's echoing the sentiment of a billion Indians who no longer want their country to be patronized on issues like human rights, democracy, or security, especially by nations that often turn a blind eye to similar, if not worse, issues within their own borders. Take the issue of cross-border terrorism, for instance. India has suffered it for decades, with Pakistan as its epicenter, and yet, time and again, Western nations, including parts of Europe, have chosen to look the other way or issue tepid statements even as innocent lives are lost. Their silence after the Pahalgam attack speaks volumes. And when that silence is coupled with diplomatic courtesies extended to Pakistan, it becomes clear why India is right to push back. If you can't name the source of terrorism, you have no moral ground to lecture us on how to fight it. This clarity is what defines India's foreign policy under Modi. It is not just reactive, it is strategic. It is not about pleasing everyone. It is about protecting Indian interests, whether it's oil from Russia despite Western sanctions, or standing firm on the line of actual control with China, or leading the Global South during the G20 presidency. New Delhi is now a capital that speaks with a voice of its own, not as a proxy, not as a junior partner. What makes this transformation even more significant is that India is not turning inward, it is engaging with the world more than ever before, but it is doing so on its own terms. Whether it's Quad, I2U2, SCO, BRICS Plus, or bilateral strategic partnerships, India is pursuing a multi-aligned but non-subservient path that requires both skill and courage, something that this government has not lacked. The message is simple. Partnerships must be built on respect, not condensation. The age of Western moral high ground is collapsing under its own contradictions, and India, with its civilizational depth and democratic vibrancy, is in no mood to entertain hypocrisy disguised as diplomacy. In a world struggling with new fault lines, be it war, technology, trade, or terrorism, India's voice will matter, but only if that voice is treated as equal. Europe and the broader West would do well to shed their outdated assumptions and understand that the India of today does not plead. It asserts, it engages, and yes, it expects fairness in return. Because in this new world order, mutuality is not an option. It is the bare minimum. This was it for today. For more such videos, stay tuned with Uday India.